Shalom. All praises, glory, honor, and fear. Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Kakadash. Double honors to elders and apostles who do rule well. Salutations to you, election, the true real house of David, the tabernacle of David. The Lord is raising up the ruins, and he's closing up the breaches, and he's hedging his men in. And everyone that's found without are going to be thrust through with a sword, by beast, by famine, by the pestilence, by the plague, one way or the other. The slain of the Lord shall be many, and all the sinners of our people, you so-called Negroes, Native Americans, Latinos, shall be destroyed and consumed by the sword. And it's already happened right now by the sword of the Lord's mouth, the spirit of the Lord's mouth, which is his prophets, which are hated, which are cast out the synagogue, that are cancel culture, that are demonized, called bug outs, called mad, called maniacs. You see, that's what's happening right now. And you know, there's talks of groceries, gas prices skyrocketing, going through the roof, because we're in a time of war, and war is not pretty. War is not smooth. War don't feel good. War is life and death. War is your family, your loved ones dying right in front of your face. Not having enough time to even be able to bury them. The Lord said, you go preach the kingdom of heaven. And see, like I did that video the other day, you know, a lot of guys, they cast their treasures on earth, and that's why they defend and they fight for this fucking world against the righteous that are fighting for a world to come. See, Yahushua said, if this were his kingdom, then his servants would fight. But because it is not, he was delivered unto Pilate. Because this is the hour of the power of darkness, and that's what we're up against. But though we walk through the valley of shadow of death, we're going to feel no evil. Me and the few brothers that are like-minded, only a few. And that's who the Lord says he's going to choose. A few. Not many. Not everybody. So as we're fighting for something greater than this, we have to go through great circumstances and dangers and perils and hazards to attain it. The everlasting life, the crown. Being received as the son of power. You know? It's not going to come easy. You know, even with a corruptible crown, that don't come easy. You have to work, you have to work out, you have to eat a diet. You have to be persistent every day. You can't take a day off if you want to be someone great, because when talent don't work, then hard work basically pays out, you know. When talent don't win games, then hard work does. And that's what we're doing, you know. We're increasing our talents by our hard work. See? But all you guys that are hiding your talent, you're not using your talent, the Lord's going to rip that talent away from you and give it to someone that already has 10. And that's why we're so despised, man, because we're increasing in the spirit. The Lord said the innocent shall be stronger and stronger. He that has pure hands and a clean heart. This is what we're dealing with. A lot of guys not under the shadow of the Lord and of these scriptures, under his shadow. You know, because your shadow, when you look at it, it goes with you everywhere you go. Everywhere you turn, you can't lose it. Same thing on the man of the Lord. We can't lose the Lord. We can't lose. We have a victory. We already win. We already won. It's already written. See? Isaiah 30:2 says, I walked to go down into Egypt, and I have not asked at my mouth. What's the Lord's mouth? The prophets, the servants. And I have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. So that's what they put their trust in. And the shadow of death, that's where a lot of guys put their trust in. They cast their treasure on earth, and that's why they defend where their treasure is. Their wisdom is earthly. Their fame, their clout, and their glory is their shame, which is the flesh. They're servants of sin. And now that we're at the end, which is the trial of all things, we're seeing that a lot of guys they never did put off the old man. They didn't put away childish things. And the Lord's about to put down all the childish, all the wicked, all the playful that are playing with the Lord's word. The Lord said he's an austere man. So the trial of all things is in the end, which we are in. Second Ezra 6:9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So we're following the Alpha and the Omega. We're seeking the ancient paths, going back to the beginning, Genesis, the creation, when everything was formed. The Lord said, "Let there be light," and He saw that it was good. But guys, they could talk evil of the light. They're part of that confusion and chaos and darkness and no order. So a lot of you guys, your end, right, the 2/3, your end is going to be alongside with Esau. With your brother. That's your brother. That's your master. That's your king, Caesar. And that's why a lot of guys have a strange covering. And that's who the Lord's coming to punish. The king's children and princes that are covered in strange apparel. Having a strange fire. And not having the spirit of the Lord. They have a spirit of this world. But they're trying to act like they really about the Lord. But the ones that's really about the Lord, we're calling it out, and we see it. So we see more seditions amongst men, more protests, more uproars. Martial law, people's rights being taken. The Lord said He's going to be with His men until the end of the world. Sirach 16:20, no heart can think upon these things worthily, and who is able to conceive His ways? It is a tempest which no man can see. And see, the works of the Lord are hidden. You have to be in the spirit to really realize what's going on. You see? It says, for the most part of His works are hid. See? And everything that's hidden being brought to light. So Lord's manifesting what His work and what His will and what He's doing right now through the voice and mouth of His men, His prophets, His true servants that He sent, as it were appointed to death. Who can declare the works of His justice? Or who can endure them? Right? Who's going to last? Who's going to stay preserved? Who's going to stay fresh? You see? Inedible. Not pervert this word. Not be cursed with the world. That's why there's few men left, because the curse has devoured the whole world, man. And a lot of guys in this truth. It says, or who can endure them? For His covenant is afar off, and the trial of all things is in the end, you see? Ezekiel 13:10. I'm sorry, verse 9. And mine hand shall be upon the prophets that see vanity and that divine lies. They shall not be in the assembly of my people, neither shall they be written in the writing of the house of Israel. This is the book of life. Because there's no fear of power of God between their eyes, man. The fear they have is what? The fear of man. What man thinks about them. They're not thinking about what is on the mind of the Lord, because they don't have the mind of the Lord. They have the heart and the mind of a carnal brute beast. Neither shall they enter into the land of Israel, And ye shall know that I am Yahweh Bashmi Ashai. So right, just like in the wilderness, you had a whole generation, that the Lord said would not see the land because their unbelief, their lack of faith, their disloyalty, that they didn't trust in the Lord. Just think about it. If you had a woman, she just always questioned you, never put her trust in you. Oh, what do you mean? You go, man, you get annoyed. Eventually you're going to leave. And this is what the Lord has done. He's left the vast majority of you goddamn hoe ass niggas, man. He's gonna destroy you, man. We're in the time of the Lord's judgment. He's gonna bring fire. He's not gonna bring peace. He's not gonna bring unity. He's gonna bring a sword and division. He's gonna put one house and he's gonna divide that house into half. Friend, family, you see? And one of a city and two of a family shall bring into Zion. Only a few. He's going to pick up the best of the best. The humble, the lowly, the meek of the earth. That's who's going to inherit the earth. Verse 10, because they have seduced my people, saying, peace. And that's what they say. Oh, shalom, hey, peace, man. Hey, shalom. But the deceitful, man, they don't mean it, man. See, when we speak, they are for war, because they're against the true righteous, man. They're against what the will of the Lord is. So the Lord is a man of war, and we're in a time of this is not a time of peace. The whole world's in an uproar. There's earthquakes, there's volcanoes going off, there's wars and rumors of wars, there's people getting shot and killed, cops, Israelites getting shot down. The Lord no respecter of persons. You live by sword, you die by sword. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. So what you're speaking, what you're saying, right? It's either gonna give you health or it's gonna bring you death. It's gonna defile your temple. And there was no peace. And one built up a wall, and lo, others daubed with untempered mortar. You see, so they're building up the walls of Zion with blood, with the blood of the prophets. With blood on their hands. They're shunning a large, huge part of the gospel from you, man. And they have blood on their hands. They witness against themselves that they are the murderers of the prophets. They mock the prophets. They put on an act. They put on an act like they're a real prophet, but they're not. They're false, man. False brethren. But they know information. See, even the demons know that there's one power, and they tremble. But they don't have the cup of salvation. That's the point. Psalm 75 and verse 8. For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same. But the dregs thereof, right? These are the last few sips of the cup, which the worst to drink down. You know. All the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them. You see, all the wicked. And amongst our people is found wicked men. Who's finding them out? The candles, the true church, the true called out ones. The real temple of the Lord that doesn't dwell in temples made by hands, that doesn't dwell in temples made by man. Oh, this is my camp, my church. Look what I made. See, Lord's seeking who will worship him in spirit and truth. Those that will rise up against the evildoers, set their face against the wicked, and rebuke them sharply, man. Not be afraid, but making the Lord their fear and dread in these times that we're living in. And walk through the valley of shadow of death and fear no evil, feel no harm, fear nothing except Yahweh Bashim shine. And if we disobey and forsake him, just fear that. Fear him that can kill both body and soul. Your soul in hell, which we're in hell right now, but that second death, it says death and hell were cast to the lake of fire. So it's not going to be a destruction by water. It's going going to be destruction by fire. Thermonuclear fire. That's what's about to happen in this third world war. It's not going to be tit for tat and little guns going off. It's going to come down to weapons of mass destruction being released. Because this is the counsel and will of the Lord in these last days, these last moments of this era, of this wicked, perverse, demonic time that we're living in. It says, but I will declare forever, I will sing praise to the power of Jacob, right? And the virgins, they're the only ones in Revelation, they're the only ones that are able to actually sing the song. Because they are virgins, they're not defiled, and they're not laying down and making their rest here. They're uncomfortable, and they're arising and departing. This is not their rest. That's why they're like on a pilgrimage. They're on a voyage, a journey. That's why the Lord said the Son of Man have nowhere to lay his head. The foxes have holes, right? And the Lord, and it's heavy. The Lord said the foxes have holes because the Lord said about the prophets of our people, they're like foxes in the desert. See? And the fox is always on the prowl for something for their own gain. You see? So the false prophet, they're in this king's house. They have a place here. They're at rest. They're lying down here. They're comfortable. They're in a deep slumber. They're under a spell, and they're putting others in a seduction and a spell with them. Psalm 75:10, all the horns of the wicked also will I cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be exalted. You see that? And that's literally what's happening. And when you look at David, when he was coming up and coming into power, it was the Lord that was exalting him and being with him and giving them victories and all the wins, keeping him alive. So it was the Lord that was exalting him, but his brothers and everyone around him thought that he was being proud and arrogant. No, it wasn't, man. No, it wasn't. 2 Chronicles 28 and verse 12, and the messenger that went to call Micah spake to him, saying, behold, the words of the prophets declare good to the king with one assent. And just like the parable of Yahushua, he said that he bid many to the marriage, but they all with one consent. They all denied and made an excuse. Oh, I have to go bury my father. Or I just got a piece of land. Or I just got a wife. The Lord said none of those that were bidden shall taste of the Lord's supper. So they're not able to eat of the hidden manna. They're not going to be able to partake in the first dominion. They're going to be that wicked servant that's going to come into the wedding out of order, not taking heed of instruction, with a no garment on, man. Not the right clothing on, not the right, covering. They're not going to be under the shadow of the tree of life, but they're going to be under the shadow of the tree of good and evil. See? So it says, let thy word, therefore, I pray thee, be like one of theirs, and speak thou good. You see? So they wanted Micah, right? Which he was a real prophet. They was trying to tell Micah, they was praying to Micah, hey Micah, just say the same thing they're saying, man. Say just good, and it's gonna be all, say a lie. Prophesy smooth things to us. Prophesy deceits, but guess what? Micah kept his integrity. 1 out of 400. Same things happening today, man. Same things happening today. And Micah said, as the Lord liveth, even what my God saith, that will I speak. And we're doing the same thing. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. We're not going to serve man. We're not serving some men. We're serving some Yahushua. You see? Now, yes, elders and the GMS, we give them double honors, of course. Right? But we're not Like Scripture saying Sirach 42, it says, be not, to let the unwise and foolish in the extreme age know. So we're letting everyone know what the word of the Lord is, what the Yahushua is speaking right now, where the Lamb is going right now. The Lamb, he's opening certain scriptures, and he wants certain things to be brought out right now, man. The Lord wants his angels to divide the sheep from the goats. See, but a lot of guys, you love confusion. You want the goats and sheep to all be together, and the goats to oppress and destroy and murder the sheep. You love confusion. You preach outside of envy and strife, but the other of love, knowing that we're set for the defense of the gospel. Because why? We have treasure in heaven. We have a reward coming for us. Because why? We are defending the word of the Lord. We're defending Yahushua. Psalms 59 and verse 8. But thou, O Lord, shalt laugh at them. Thou shalt have all the heathen in division. And the 2/3, you're heathens. You're not Israelites. You're not a prince of the power. You're bastards. You know what I'm saying? You're degenerates. You're going backwards. You're rebellious. You rebel. You fight against the Lord and his anointed, just like the heathen do, just like Esau. And that's what was happening in the time of Maccabees and time of Grecians. Same thing's happening now. First Maccabees 1:11. In that time, there went out wicked Israelites and made a covenant with the heathen. Because they couldn't deal with the sorrow, man. They couldn't stay down. Because wisdom's going to try it by crooked ways. Because let me keep reading down. Let me jump to verse 12. It says, for the sin of their mouth, you see? For the sin of their mouth, what they're saying, what they're speaking. And that's where you're going to be condemned, or you're going to be what? Justified by what you're saying. By what you're saying. What advice, what counsel you're giving. You're giving advice of men, or are you giving the advice of the Lord? Which with the Lord is no shadow of turning. It's a yes or a no. For the sin of their mouth and the words of their lips, let them even be taken in their pride, and for cursing and lying which they speak. Consume them in wrath, consume them, that they may not be, and let them know that power ruleth in Jacob unto the ends of the earth, Selah. And at evening let them return, and let them make a noise like a dog. See, so they're making a noise like a dog, but it's on some bitch shit, which a bitch is a female dog. That's what that word means, okay? A curse is, you want to know what a curse is? Read Deuteronomy 28:68. Coming on slave ships and never seeing Israel, our homeland, again. Not being ransomed or bought from any man. That's a curse. And the Lord said that there will come a day where you will desire to see the day of the Son of Man, but you shall not see it. You see, but we're in the time of our eyes being opened and the books being unloosed, and we're being able to perceive that the day of the Son of Man is very nigh. In the midst of this third world war that's about to happen, because it's not going to stop. The Lord's not going to return the plagues anymore, man, upon the earth. They're going to fulfill his will. Psalms 59 and verse 15. It's like 14. And go round about the city, right? So that's what they do. They go round about. They go in circles. But they make a noise like a dog. But it ain't the watchman's dog, which is barking loud, you know, inside it. You know, that's what Caleb means. Caleb means dog, which they call a dog a man's best friend. So we're Yahushua's best friend. He didn't call us servants anymore, because we know what Yahushua is doing. We literally know exactly what he's doing. He's shaking this thing up. He's shaking this truth up, that which is actually founded upon the rock and stable, right? Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. And that glory that they know of the Lord, right? You see? They're going to be kept, and they're going to abide the day of trouble. They're going to abide, and they're going to stay. They're not going to make haste in the day of trouble. They're not going to flee. They're going to hold their ground and defend the ground of truth. You know, but the others, they're going to be shaken out of it, man. Hebrews 11, Hebrews 12. Those shall be shaken, though that those may remain. But those that are all over the place, they're going to fall. They're going to fall. They're going to fall. Psalm 59 and 15. Let them wander up and down for me, and grudge if they be not satisfied. But I will sing of thy power. Yeah, I will sing aloud of thy mercy in the morning, for thou hast been my defense and refuge in the day of my trouble. Right? So the Lord is our refuge, and that's why they ridicule us and look down on us, because we make the Lord our refuge. That's why we're despised, because we don't make carnal things that you can see, feel, and touch our refuge. Oh, you don't have a getaway house at your refuge, you know? No, our refuge is of the name of the Lord that made heaven and earth. And you're about to see how great of a refuge that is when the times are coming into. See, everything is about to be proven right, what we've been saying, man. A man shall be a hiding place from the wind. What man? The man that the Lord is shining upon. Unto thee, O my strength, will I sing, right? That's where our treasures lie, with the Lord. For God is my defense, and the God of my mercy. That's right. Malachi 3 and verse 14. I'm sorry, verse 13. You have to have a very strong mind to be able to finish the building. You know, the Lord said in the parable, if a man, you know, begin to start to build a tower and is not able to finish it, all those that beheld him are going to mock him and laugh at him. And that's what the Lord's doing. He shall, like we read it earlier in Psalm 59, he shall laugh at them because he sees their days coming. He's going to have all the heathen in derision, because he didn't want to take heed. And after the second and third admonition, after the second and third time telling our people what it is, the Lord said, let them be as heathen and publican unto you, you know. So the hardest part is the end, the last, you know, finishing it, you know, just like a race, you know. Right when the gun blows, pop, and then they run, the runners, right? It's easy, okay? Everyone's running, you know. But wait until the last lap, man. You know, everyone's tired, like, oh, man. That's when you have to go hardest, man, so you can be able to win. That's why Paul, he said, don't you know that those that run all, but yet one wins the prize? You see, so you have to be that one. You have to be strong, man. You have to be courageous. You have to be fervent, you know. Malachi 3 and 13, your words, and what strengthens us. This is our power, energy source, this word, this truth. And that's why we plug in, you know, whenever we can, man, as much as we can. Because it's not only just builds up ourselves, but also builds up those that hear us and take heed and listen. Have an attentive ear, you know. That's why I said in Sirach, I have not labored for myself only, but also all those that love wisdom. And wisdom's going to what? Justify and praise her children. Rough paraphrasing. Malachi 3 and 13. Your words have been stout against me, saith the Lord. Yet, yea say, what have we spoken against It's like, what have we spoken so much against thee? And that's what guys do. They ask questions like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? See? They're very evil. And they think that the Lord doesn't know their heart. And see, the Lord, he's given his servants, his men, his friends, that same spiritual power of telepathy, of psychology, reading minds. You know? We know men's hearts, what's on their mind, what they're really thinking. So that word stout. That word stout is hazak. Alright, meaning to be hardened, to be resolute, to be sore. Right, it basically means to strengthen oneself. So, like we read earlier in Isaiah 30:2, they strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and the strength of this world, the carnal things. You see? Malachi 3:14. Ye have said, it is vain to serve power. You see? That's why they serve man. Because why? They really think that there's a profit in serving man, but there is none. Your money's going to perish with you. And no man can save the soul of his brother. Neither can he even save his own. You see? Ye have said it is vain to serve God, and what profit is it that we have kept his ordinance, and that we have walked mournfully before the Lord of hosts? And that's what the Lord told you. You said in Samuel, you know, let me get this as well. The Lord said to serve him with a humble heart. Nahum, actually, I think it is. Yeah, Nahum. Micah 6:8. He has showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy power. The Lord's voice, the Lord's voice crieth unto the city, and the man of wisdom shall hear thy name. Hear ye the rod, and who hath appointed it, right? And Yahushua, he's appointing that rod. The rod of correction, the rod of his mouth. And that's what the Lord is ruling with. Isaiah 11:4 says, verse 1, it says, and there shall come forth a rod, you see, out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out. Yep, a branch shall grow out of his roots, and the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord, and shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord. And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. Or with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth. See? With the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. You see? So the Lord, he tells you before he does it. And though it be told you, right, though it be told our people, yet they will still not believe. Because they are a very forward generation, rebellious, that will not hear the words of the Lord, but they hear their own words. That's why the Lord said, if another will come in his own name, him they'll receive. But Yahushua, he came in his father's name, they didn't receive Yahushua. Because they didn't have the Father to begin with, man. They were just a friend in name, but not in deed. Not sincerely, not really. They wasn't really. Malachi 3:15. And now we call the proud happy. Yeah, they that work wickedness are set up. Right? So the ones that are working wickedness, like the Lord said, the vilest men are exalted on every side. So everywhere, man, everywhere you look at, every movement, every place, whoever's on top, all right, is what is wicked, man. You see, it's wicked, has been corrupted, has been compromised, man. Yeah, they that tempt God are even delivered. You see, but we're in the time now. Time now, O Lord, bringing that swift judgment. You see, Acts 5:9. Then Peter said unto her, how is it that ye have agreed together to tempt the Spirit of the Lord? And see, that's what they do, right? With one assent, with one consent, they tempt the Spirit of the Lord. Oh man, the Lord's not talking to those guys. You know, they're not in a camp. You know, they don't get it, man. Says, behold, the feet of them which have buried thy husband are at the door, and shall carry thee out. Then she fell down straightway at his feet, and yielded up the ghost. And the young men came in and found her dead, and carrying her forth, buried her by her husband. You see, a wicked woman is given to a wicked man, you know. And what was the reason why they died? Because they kept back a portion of the land, and they lied. But they didn't lie to Peter, they lied to the Lord. And great fear came on all the church, and upon as many as heard these things. And that's what's about to happen in these last days. Great fear of the Lord, because he's about to execute. There's going to be no longer any more talking or speaking or approving the gate. It's actually be bringing judgment. It's going to either bring in death or life. Ezekiel 22:28, and our prophets, verse 27. Our princes in the midst thereof are like wolves ravening the prey, to shed blood and to destroy souls, to get dishonest gain. You see that? And that's what they're in the midst of us, wolves in sheep's clothing. They're all about dishonest gain, man. And the prophets have daubed them with untempered mortar, seeing vanity and divining lies unto them, saying, thus said Yahushua, when the Lord hath not spoken. You see that? So they're saying, thus saith the Lord, but the Lord has not spoken. The Lord's not saying that right now. See that? And it's sad because the Lord said there's a time and place for everything, which we're not in the time of talking about women's cellulite and thighs. You know, we're not in the time of that. Yeah, okay, it's in the law, but I mean, the main thing that should be preached and talked about and glorified and exalted right now is the voice of Yahushua, the voice of the Lord. You see? And that's the curses too, man. The curses say, your life shall hang in doubt all the day long. But see, we don't doubt that the Lord can save us and deliver us from this serpent and evil. We believe. So he that doubteth is damned if he eateth. So we're eating, and we have no doubts in our mind that the Lord said he's going to be with us and bring us through whatever we have to get through. All right, it says, verse 29, the people of the land have used oppression and exercised robbery, and they have vexed the poor and needy. Yeah, they have oppressed the stranger wrongfully, and the Lord talked about entertaining strangers unawares, for some have entertained angels. So you have to be very, very kind to a stranger. And I saw for a man among them, and that should make up the hedge and stand in the gap before me for the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found none. So Lord, he has found none that were willing to do that, to stand up in the gap, stand up in the breach, and stop allowing that wickedness in. All that false doctrine, lukewarm and partiality to come in, respect to persons and stuff like that. And when you watch the show Them, when you watch that TV series Them, it just came out on Amazon, it's called Them. It kind of has a vibe of like Get Out. It's very good. I highly suggest you check it out. But nonetheless, not to spoil it, but there is this one episode. It might be one of the last ones. And what happened was, you got these Jakes. This husband and wife, their chariot broke down, and you got these Edomites basically entreat them to stay with them. And they said that they was Christian, they believed in God, and but they allowed them to stay for a little bit, maybe a month, and eventually they started to work for them, and they just got in their mind, we're gonna have them for possession, they're gonna be our slave. And then they didn't have any thought to fix their chariot and let them go and proceed on their journey. And they started to call them like evil and, oh, you stole my horse, but it wasn't their horse, it was their horse. They came in on that horse. And he was flipping everything upside down just because they have the authority, just because they're in power. And they gouged out their eyes, and they burnt them with fire. But see, that after that happened, that whole land was cursed, man. They made a covenant with death. That whole land was defiled, man, and it was cursed. Which that's this whole land, America. This whole land is fucking cursed. Forget a neighborhood, the whole land, from sea to shining sea, cursed. And the scriptures say, don't bring the cursed thing into your house, which is symbolic of like don't bring this world into your house, don't bring this world into your temple, into you. Therefore have I poured out my indignation upon them, I have consumed them with the fire of my wrath. Their own way have I recompense upon their heads, saith the Lord God. Right? So God's own way, not the way of the Lord. He's going to repay them to them. It's just not going to profit them anything. Let me get this precept pulled out and get out of here. This is Numbers 14. And the title of this part of Numbers 14:20, is the Lord's pardon and rebukes. So you have to be willing and able to not just bring out the good side of it, right? The salvation, the pardons, the mercy, but also bring out the rebukes of the Lord. It says, and the Lord said, I have pardoned according to thy word, that as truly as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord. 22. Because all those men which have seen my glory and my miracles, which I did in Egypt in the wilderness, and have tempted me these 10 times. It wasn't once or twice or three, it was 10 times. Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakodash, Ababa Ball, Wa Shalom.